do. I, Ron Heath,
Okay, Mr.
couldn't
Heath.
stand to do it.
Okay. All right, today is Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 at 2:45 in the afternoon PM. And I, David Pyle, am interviewing Ron Heath at the Rocky Mountain Regional VA Medical Center in Aurora, Colorado. So, Ron, now we can begin.
All right.
All right, so the first question, where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and as a little boy, and then we moved between Chesapeake and Virginia Beach.
So, and how long were you there? And did you, until you graduated high school? Or high school?
No, well, I know that until I joined the Navy.
Really?
Yeah,
How old were you when you joined the Navy?
I cheated a little bit. I was 17, I was supposed to be 18.
I think that
I
was
think they'll do.
So what motivated you to join the military? Were you drafted? You enlisted?
Well, my stepfather was merchant marine. My brother was a captain in the what do you call it? Oh, but anyhow, was a captain in the service. But yeah, and I was around the water and everything. And because I liked the idea of being on a ship or something, you know, I had a kid at that age, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, and you chose the Navy. You chose the Navy because you were around that whole thing.
Oh yeah, the water. My brother was a captain in the Coast Guard.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and that was, and my stepfather was a chief engineer on a merchant ship. So I was around that type of stuff, and I like the water because I like ships. So
Sure.
the Navy seemed to be thing. And I was enlisted. I joined.
Yeah, good on you. So let's see. So you, what war did you serve in?
Korean War.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well,
Where exactly did you try? Where did you go? Where were you
okay.
stationed?
You normally when you join, you got to go to boot camp, right?
Yeah.
And I went to boot camp, and then once boot camp, that's determined whether you're going on a ship or shore duty or whatever. And because I went on the ship, it was a repair ship, and what our job was to go to the battleships or the aircraft carriers if they were damaged during the war and repair them there because they couldn't get back to base. So anyhow, I was put on the ship. This is really a funny story. I've been on the ship, we still at port, for 5 days, right?
Mm.
And normally when you go on the ship like that, it's a big ship with a lot of men, but they make you go mess cooking. And that's where you wash pots and pans or you're peeling potatoes or whatever. But I've been on 5 days and we had a little office that the chief sat in who was in charge of that whole mess cook thing, right? So anyhow, I don't know why, but I walked by his office and all of a sudden I heard, hey, yeah, what? I was scared. I'd only been on the ship 5 days and I knew I didn't get in any trouble. But anyhow, I go and said, yeah, he says, do you know how to cook? I said, well, I watch my mother cook and I like to cook. And I cook, you know, at home, do a little cooking. But I mean, you know, 5 days I'm asking if I know how to cook and all this stuff. So he said, well, go up to the chief's quarters because the 2 cooks that they have up there got drunk or something and they had nobody to cook a meal. And listen, I'm there 5 days. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm going up to a chief's quarters and find out if I can cook for him. Now you gotta remember, we were at shore, so that must have been like Well, I know there was 65 chiefs that had to stay on the ship, but the other part of the chiefs, because we were at port, could go home or go on base or leave the ship. Now we're talking about 65 chiefs. So chief says, can you do any cooking for us? You know, I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is after 5 days on the ship. Next thing I know, can I do this? I said, well, I told him what I thought I could do. He says, well, here's the keys. Go down, and we have a dry storage area. We also have a walk-in refrigerator. That's where a lot of stuff is. Because the chiefs, well, I think personally, they had it much better than the officers because they had their own mess. So anyhow, I go into the walk-in refrigerator. I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I see great big thick pork chops. And I looked and I said, you know, I could split those and stuff them with some bread, stuff with something. And I looked and I saw these great big, beautiful bacon potatoes. And I said, baked potatoes. And I like broccoli and cheese, and that was broccoli there. So I figured I could give them the pork chops, baked potatoes, and anything. So anyhow, I went back up and talked to you. Do whatever you have to do. So remember, I got to cook 65 people, 65 cheese.
Right.
And here I, So anyhow, I put on my baked potatoes first because that takes longer. Then I cooked the pork chops and I saved the drippings. So I made a little sauce out of that. And the last thing, of course, I put on the broccoli. Anyhow, I got all this stuff done by myself, nobody else.
Well,
When it was time to when I got everything ready, because normally they would have a mess cook and they'd come and serve the cheese, food. Well, there was this long table. I said, oh, hell, I don't know what to do. So I laid everything on the long table. Anyhow, I don't know how I got, the good Lord had to be with me because I don't know how I did it. But anyhow, after it was all over, the chief came to me and he said, it's the best meal we've had up here. I said, whoopee, and some of the chiefs that was eating came up and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm saying, God, I must be in another world because all this stuff is happening to me. Anyhow, make a long story short, normally when you go in, usually give you 1 year at wherever you are, and then they transfer. Like I was on a ship, and I'd be transferred to the base or on land type thing, and so it came. Anyhow, the chief wanted me to stay up there, right? Lucky me, no standing, no watches, or any of this, and I could stay up in their quarters. And every time I went below, would take a shower, go to bed. And so anyhow, it was like I was in a dream world. But anyhow, it came to the point where they wanted me to stay up there, keep me up there, which was fun. I got away from that cook, and I was like almost like my own boss. And plus, they thought they were getting a good deal. Well, I felt very lucky that I could even get the training and do it on my own. But anyhow, I just passed 1 year. It was time for me to be transferred. No way, Jose. She said, you're not going anywhere. So my whole 4 years enlistment was in the chief's quarters as their cook. So that was, I would say that was wonderful, lucky me that I was right place. I didn't know all this, but it happened.
Sure.
So there had to be a reason why it happened. But that was the part that, yeah. But my Navy career, and let me tell you something. VA, I'm not even be sure. I've had some bad strokes and stuff like that. But I tell you, the people at VA have treated me like I couldn't ask for better treatment, and I'm so thankful. I didn't tell you when I sang on Broadway, though, have I?
No, we
did.
haven't gotten that far. Let me look through here. We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
I
So you
told
told us
you, you just tell me to go and stop.
No. I think we just covered your wartime service pretty well here. It's like,
We did.
So were you awarded any medals, citations for your service?
No, because I was just up in the chief for it.
They didn't give a good commendation or a recommendation for the cook?
Very good.
How about, let's see, so afterwards then, what occupations did you have after service?
After service, I wanted to become a singer, and I went to New York City, auditioning and all that stuff was not very pleasant. But anyhow, I needed to get a job, and you know what the Radio City Music Hall where the girls dance?
Sure.
Okay, there's another theater that's similar to that called the Roxy Theater, and in those days they had a movie and a stage show. At the Radio City Music Hall, they did the same thing. The Roxy Theater too, we had a movie and we had a stage show, but our stage show was ice skating.
Was ice skating?
Ice skating. When I was a young boy, I learned how to ice skate on the lakes and, the figure skating. Not fancy, but I could do it. But anyhow, I got a job at the Rock, but I got a job as the executive elevator operator. And what that meant was I had to only the executive.
Right.
I had to go back. That was completely different from the regular one. But you know who Rockefeller was?
Sure.
Well, this guy was Rockefeller.
Rockefeller.
But he was a Jewish man. They go tough and not smoking a big old cigar. Anyhow, I'm on the elevator, and on the third floor is where, if nothing was happening, that's where the elevator stopped. And I had a chair right there. I could sit until I heard buzz, whatever. Well, the acoustics where I was so great. I was like, I'm going, oh man, it's I started singing and just let loose. All of a sudden his was 3 real fast beat. All of a sudden they were beep. Got the elevator, went up there to it. Who in the hell's making all that noise? I heard all this noise coming up here. Well, I said, that was me. I was just singing. Oh, let me tell you something. I want to see you in my office at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I said, God bless America. I said, now I guess I just got this job. I'm going to be fired. Well, in charge of bus, elevators and all that stuff, I told my boss, which I consider, he said, what'd you do, Heath? And I said, until I explained to him, he said, do you have a suit? I said, well, I've got a little suit. And he said, you could, when you come tomorrow, dress up the best you can and don't volunteer. Just if he asks you the questions, just answer him best you can. I said, well, I'm nervous enough now. I probably won't even say nothing. So anyhow, his secretary comes out and says, go down the hall here, and this door, go in the door, and he'll meet you there. Well, this was a great big room and a big stage, and the only thing there was a piano and a piano player. So I'm looking, all of a sudden he said, okay, what we're looking for is that we need a singer to back up the two ice skating stars, and you do such a thing. He said, do you know Autumn Leaves? I said, yeah, I know that song. He said, okay, let's hear you. So we gave the piano player, he wanted to know, do I know the key that I needed? So, and so anyhow, he just introduction. I went, and then I froze. I absolutely froze. I couldn't remember know anything about. All of a sudden, he's in the audience, him and two other guys, and he says, can you sing or can you? And you know, New York people, they're really nice, but they can be so rude. And if you're a little boy from Virginia, you're not used to that kind of talking. So anyhow, he says, go try it again. So I'll go to the piano with the piano player. We got it worked out. So he goes again. And I go, and then goes again. So, I figured I'd had. And to be honest with you, I wanted to get the hell out of there. Okay. So anyhow, he was giving me all this stuff. Well, I'm Irish. It takes a lot for my temper to get up. But once it gets up, you better watch out. So anyhow, I was mad. I was mad with the whole situation. And he gives me this stuff and everything. And I said, you know, you're a very rude person. I said, I'm not used to people talking to me like you talk to me and so forth. He said, I said, I'm going to try this song again. And I said, I'm going to do the best I can. And I'm going to make sure it comes up. Well, I got with the piano player again. And let me tell you, I blasted. I came out and I gave him everything I got. To make a long story short, I got the job.
Incredible. What a great story. So then you would, with the show, you would have a.
Well, the first show, I had to come off stage, cross the front of the stage, and go on this little bridge and start singing. And I sang the whole song by myself first, and then I would sing, keep singing, and then the two ice skating stars would come out, and I was their background thing. But before I was supposed to come out, they had barrel jumping group, and all of a sudden they took a big chunk of ice out like this. Well, because I didn't know that. I'm coming across stage, my right foot pick got right up, and I took the most beautiful flip you've ever seen. I got up to the bridge, and I didn't miss a note. And the audience was going like crazy, because you know when you make a mistake or something. So anyhow, but that was how I got my job in New York singing for almost 3 years.
Really? Yeah.
And then I sang on Miami Beach too. So
You sang in Miami Beach?
oh yeah, I sang
Tell
some like
me
that.
about that. That's, I mean, that's,
Well,
it was a club.
I went after the 3 years. I was auditioning and for different things, and I'm like, I need to go back home and get a profession where I feel good. And I did. I managed. I was a manager of Bruce Point Officers Club for a while, and I was manager of the Chief Petty Officers Club. But anyhow, I lost my train of thought. Me, you want to know my Beach. So anyhow, when I came back home, I moved to Florida, and uh, well, there's this one, yeah, I know how to do it. This- Somebody I met or something says, you ought to go such and such a place, and they probably could use you sitting in some, this small night, not the big, jobs in there. So anyhow, we did, and I went to, oh, he was such a nice old. Anyhow, I sang for him, and he had a nice little uh, bar and real cozy. And it was small, but I said, he gave me a job when I sang there. But then after I've been in my beach, I went back home to Virginia and stayed with my mother for a while and so forth. Then a friend of mine was moving to Denver. He had been here before, and he was there, and he said something about you. And I was like at a low time, I wasn't really anything was happening. So I came along with him. Now I've been here 40-some years, and so I left Colorado. So I ended up where he was going to lose the farm or something because he didn't have good credit, and I did. So I did a reverse mortgage, and so it came probably 6 acres. We had horses, we had the lambs, and we had chickens and all that. And I took care of that until I got sick where I couldn't do it anymore. But I ended up being an owner. Crazy. But then Jerry Pierce, the guy you saw here earlier,
Yeah.
is my lifesaver.
He what?
My lifesaver.
Really? Okay.
He was in Texas, or living in Texas. That was his mother. She comes to visit and help him out while I'm here. But he moved here, and we rented him a room in the house.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, he started noticing things, didn't know why this, so forth. He's the one that found out the benefits I didn't know I had as a vet,
Right.
and really looking after me, making the point, make sure. I mean, all this stuff I didn't know anything about.
Sure.
Well, number one, not only did he become my dear, dear, dear friend, but power of attorney. And right now, as it stands today, he's one that I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him. So I'm a very lucky person to have him. And I pretty well have let him take over my life. And he's done a wonderful job. And I don't know what.
You sound like a son to
Anyhow, but and here I am now. So you go ahead and ask your questions.
So, let's see. So how do you feel like if your military experience affected your life?
Wonderfully.
Yeah. What kind of influences do you feel like it had on shaping you?
I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be the person I am today. The experience on the ship
Yeah.
and all that really made me grow up. But let me tell you something, VA, I don't care what anybody says, the benefits they give you, which I didn't even know I had. I don't even know I had. No, my Navy and my military career is that, I don't care what anybody says. I was a lucky boy, and I love being in the service, and I love being a vet.
So
I'm a lucky boy, okay? I'm sorry.
no, well, this is fine. This is fine.
Okay,
So,
go ahead, Bubba.
yeah, let's see. So, nervous about not being in the service?
How do I know?
I know.
How do I know the answer to that question?
So-
What would I miss if I hadn't been in the service? I don't know, but I can tell you what I do know is that, thank the good Lord above, that I was in the Navy, because I'd never be, all the benefits and taking care of me, I could have never, I've had operations, I got a pacemaker, I mean, just everything they do.
No,
If I'd been a civilian, I would have never done that.
I truly understand. It's as much the same to me. Sure, I need that.
Yep. It's,
So let's see. What do you wish more people knew about veterans and or military service?
well, I'll tell you. We got a bad name back there when they were building the, because I was so many years and went to one downtown, which wasn't a very nice place. This place has been beautiful, but it took a while and a lot of money because the crooks. You know how the government is now, it's a mess, but stealing money and all that stuff. And thank God they took a lot longer to get this, look at the beautiful facilities we have. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
It's just great.
I agree. So, what would you like people to know or remember from your story? How would you like to be remembered?
I would personally like to remember that they know that I'm a very grateful person. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've had good and I've had bad, but I tell you, if I didn't have my VA,
Um,
I am so appreciative of what's happening and what they've done for me. I could not even thank you or thank them enough. Okay. Oh, and there's people here that were, that nurse, top drawer. Okay. So dry.
So, what message would you like to leave for future generations who will view this interview?
Join the Navy. Be lucky and have the great fortune to have VA and have them taken care of me. And also remember that I've had a pretty good life.
That's good, sir. Anything you would like to add that we haven't covered in this interview?
Well, let's see. Maybe I should start questioning you. How about those apples? No.
Turnaround's not fair play.
I think
It's about you, sir, about you.
it was fine. I enjoyed that.
I'm glad. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I've had a having a conversation with you.
Thank you.
And you too, sir, and you too, bless you.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, and I think that pretty much covers our interview.